Had to change oil in the second generation 2007-2014 Chevy Silverado. So when I first bought my truck, Chevy said I had to let this percentage run down to below 10% before I could do an oil change. Then a few years later they said to change it every 5,000 miles because there's some screens in the engine that can clog. So we're at about 5,000 miles, which is 41%, so let's change the oil. So when you show up to buy your oil, a good thing to do is take a picture of your VIN down here. Just take a picture of that and bring it in so they can tell you what kind of oil and filter you need. You can also look under the hood by the air cleaner. It tells you right here that I got a 5.3 liter, and it also tells you on your oil cap what weight you need. So I need 5W30. Now what I did under the hood is I painted an area white. I write down when I change the oil, and I write down the tools I need. So let's get started. Okay, stuff you're gonna need: 15mm socket, oil wrench, funnel, something to collect oil, and you need about 6 quarts of fresh oil. And Chevy says it's got to be this Dextos approved. I think that's just Chevy BS, but it doesn't hurt to get that. Here we are under the truck. Come back here behind the cross member, and we have our oil filter. And then over here is our drain plug. And that's going to drain right into the pan. So let's grab our wrench and take that out. Let that drain. Alright, once it's all drained, put the drain plug back in, tighten it up. Next we got to take this off. I can never grab this thing. That's where the oil wrench comes in. Using the oil wrench, we're going to grab onto it and we're going to loosen that thing off. So got the new filter here. What you want to do is you want to put a little bit of oil on the rubber seal. Now once it seats, you want to give it about a full turn all the way around. So I'm just going to wipe the oil off my hand. Try to give it a good turn all the way around. And finally you got to dump about 6 quarts of oil in here. And then just pour the old oil back in the container it came from. When you get near the top, check frequently. Nothing worse than overfilling your used oil container. It's also a good way to measure your oil so you know how much you have in the truck. For example, I have just a hair over 5 quarts, so I used probably half a quart of oil in the last 5,000 miles. And just bring this back to the store you bought it from and they'll take the used oil. In New York State where I live, any place that sells oil is required by law to take the oil back. After you fill it with oil, run it about 30 seconds, turn it off, let it sit for a minute, and then check the oil level. See if you need to add a little more. And then on my little thing, I'm going to write down the current mileage. 81,000. So I'll change it again in 5,000 miles. Alright, now that we've changed our oil, it's time to reset the percentage. So on the side here, push the button until you can see your oil percentage. And then just press and hold the check mark for a few seconds. And that resets it. Here's a little pro tip. I got this plastic container down here and just put funnels up top, and any oil in them will then dribble into this container and then I can throw that container out in a couple of years if it fills up with oil.